Have this week's Parashat, a very famous question. Yaakov Avinu comes and says, Ani esav bechorecha. Right? How could he say that? How could he lie? How could Yaakov lie and claim to be esav bechorecha? What's the answer? He listened to his mom, he lied. You're saying he lied, but he listened to his mother. Right? He had to lie. His mother said, go lie. And she did it because she had a nevuah. Right? Any other answer? How could he lie?
He didn't lie. It's in Tamim. I'm who I am.
Okay.
So
according to Amim, Ani, so he was a wise guy, basically. The answer says he was a wise guy.
Right? The father was tricked, so he was a lie.
Right. So Morris has a problem with this. Even if he didn't lie, he misled.
Yeah.
He misled. Right. I just want to tell you a Kelal Gadol. A very, very important yesod in every time you ask these type of questions. The answer is only an answer, or I should qualify what I'm saying. You understood the answer only if you figure out after the answer why it couldn't be any different way. Why it couldn't be he couldn't have said anything else. If you just solved the problem for me, near the answer you gave.
Yeah.
Forget about the fact that you're still misled. So why say it?
Why say what?
Why say Esau is your Bechor? Why say such a thing? According to your answer, don't say it. Any answer is a good answer, but after you got the answer, you realize that it is impossible to have said anything else. What we need to accomplish requires that absolutely. Any other, if the answer is not saying that, we are not understanding the answer fully. So when you ask a question on Chumash, you ask a question in physics. So as long as the question is not a question anymore, it's not a question. But on Chumash, you're asking why did it say so? So you make it, the question is not such a big question. Fine, but still, what is it teaching me by saying so? If the only thing it taught me is it created a question and I gave an answer, so the question is not a question, but it's still, why confuse me? Why mislead me? If Torah said it, that means this is the only way it could be. And as long as you haven't come to the point that you go home and say, you know what, it's just impossible for it to have said anything else, then you haven't gotten the answer fully. So says Rabbeinu Bachai, I'm telling you this, Rabbeinu Bachai makes me shake in my shoes. Says Rabbeinu Bachai, if Yaakov Avinu hadn't said, if he wasn't willing to say, Ani esav bechorecha, he wouldn't have gotten the bracha. It's a condition for him to get a bracha. For him to get Yitzchak's bracha, he had to bring himself to say that.
He had to trick his father.
Yeah, in a way, yeah. And if not, he would not have gotten the brachot. So now you're talking. Now that's an answer. We have to understand it, but that's an answer. That is the only way. That is the only way. And to understand this, you have to understand, we have an interesting relationship with Nisayon. Every morning we pray, V'lo lidei nisayon. We ask Hashem, we should not be tested. But Gemara says in Sanhedrin that David prayed to be tested. David HaMelech prayed to be tested. So he was tested by the story of Bathsheba, says Gemara in Sanhedrin, and what happened?
He failed.
He failed. Now says the Gemara, David HaMelech says, Rak becha chatati. David recognizes, David says, the level he was, where he was spiritually, he should have, and he would have succeeded had a test like Bathsheba would have come up. The reason he failed is because he asked for it. That was a mistake that he made. He thought, I could ask for it, I'm ready. But you don't ask for it. Asking for it sort of says like what? That, the chance of chas v'shalom failure doesn't bother me. There's a machloket between Bet Hillel and Bet Shammai. Right? Famous machloket. 2.5 years they argued about this. Right? Tov lo adam shenivra, or tov shenivra. It's better for a person to have been created, or it's better for a person not to have been created. 2.5 years they argued about it. Bet Shammai held that it's better that a person should not have been created. Bet Hillel says no, it's better that he's yes created. 2.5 years they argued. Finally, they came to a decision. Yes, right. Bet Shammai is right. Bet Hillel agreed that they are wrong, and Bet Shammai is right. 2.5 years they argue about this. You know what's the question on that? How could you argue? Hashem already answered it. How did Hashem answer it? He created. Hashem answered the question by creating. That means it's better to create. What kind of argument is this? And then 2.5 years later, your decision is against what Hashem chose. So there are different mahalachim. This is a very deep humor, obviously. But Rav Weinberg, Zechet Tzadik Yivracha, Rav Weinberg said, obviously, Hashem already answered it. That wasn't the machloket. Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel. Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel were arguing, what should be our feeling? Where should we come from? Right? You ask a parent. The children keep you up, right? And bother you, and are disrespectful to you, and that's all before they become teenagers. Then they become teenagers, and it's all another also, right? So you ask a parent, is it worth it? Because of course it's worth it. The love overrides everything. You ask the child. The child said, my life is not worth it if I cause any discomfort for the parent. It's a question of how should we feel if chas v'shalom, the option of going against Hashem's will exists, even if I do mitzvot, I do right my whole life. Just the fact that I could is not worth it for me to be alive. Of course, Hashem. That was machloket Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel. How should we think about it? How scared should we be of the possibility of going against Ratzon Hashem? That's what Rabbi Weinberg said. So me'ain this was David HaMelech's chet. David HaMelech asked for a nisayon. And he says clearly, he really was. He was worthy of passing that nisayon, and he should have and he could have. Now because you asked it, all the siyata d'shmaya was taken away from you. We don't ask for nisayon because it sort of shows we don't mind chas v'shalom going against the will of Hashem. We don't ask for it, but nisayon comes every day, says Rav Moshe Feinstein. Our attitude is Hashem, we don't want nisayon. The possibility of not doing what you want is too hard for us. But if He gives us nisayon, and He gives every single day, He gives every single day. How do we deal with that? David HaMelech said, they are called of Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov. How come they are not Elohei David? So that's what I want to talk about. Where do we get to that Elohei? We can ask it ourselves, but it's given to us every single day. How do we come to that? So here is how we come to that. Yaakov Avinu had to say, Ani esa b'chorecha. Every day in our lives, there are moments that we feel, this is not for me. Right? We all know that. Yaakov Avinu was born, Ishtav Yeshua Halim. He is not a politician. He's the scholar. Right? We all know Yitzchak was no child. Yitzchak doesn't know his own children. Yitzchak knew Esav, knew Yaakov, knew their potentials, knew their talents. Yitzchak knew who Esav was. The only thing is what you have, if you apply it to the right cause, you could be a wonderful leader. He was the Bechor. You have Yaakov as your scholar. Yaakov is not the politician. He can't go in front of the cameras and do whatever and go and be a go-getter, this and that. Esau was supposed to have been Melech and what? Kohen Gadol. Right? And I've discussed this before, that Leah sort of saved us. Right? Leah had the same personality as Esau. Leah was, right? That's why he said Leah was Esau's shidduch. But once Yaakov took Esau's Bechorah, so Leah married Yaakov. That's why Melech and Kohen, Gadol, Levi, they come from Leah. Right? Okay, that's another conversation. But comes there at age 15. They're at age 15, and Esau bam min hasadeh hu ayef. All right. So Avram Avinu is passed on. There are people coming, there are people going, there are Nichum Abelim. Right? So he sees lentil soup, which is for Nichum Abelim, and all, what does he see? Red. He doesn't see Nichum Abelim, he doesn't see the situation. We all know Esau's downfall was what? Selfishness. Right? Who remembers what does Midrash say? What was said on his flag? Right? What was written on Esau's flag? Right? Esau says he was riding in front of 400, an army strong. They had a flag. You know what was written on Esau's flag? Midrash says, "Ani ve'afsi od." Me and only me. That's what he was written on his flag. That was his motto. That was his motto. And that is the opposite of what a leader is. You have unbelievable leadership qualities. And that's what Yaakov said. Yaakov said, Michra kayom bechorat chari. He wasn't saying, sell it to me. He was crying that he shouldn't sell it to him. It's not something you purchase. He says, look, if you prefer this bowl of soup against all your responsibilities, you have unbelievable talent. You could apply it, but that's responsibility. To be a leader, that means to be responsible for the whole nation. You can't just, I'm not in the mood today. I want to relax. I want to have my bowl of soup. The heads of states to meet, the country to run. You can't. The last thing a person could be a leader is selfish. Right? Imagine Mr. President X. Today is his birthday. Right? He decided he's going to go take it easy. He's going to go to Camp David. There's a situation developing in Afghanistan. So forget it. Scrap the whole. Right? Too bad. I'm sorry. I have pre-arranging. You can't. The one thing you cannot be, right? So, Yaakov was saying, look, if you don't do it, I have to do it. I will have a double job. I have to be the scholar, and I have to be the leader and politician. And that's not me. I'm not a leader and politician. By nature, I'm not that. I won't be such a good one. And I don't want to be one, and I don't like to be one. So Esau says, no, here, Bechorah is yours. Rabotai, 48 years pass. I like to say it corresponds to the 48 things that, 48 things you have to work on to acquire something fully. Torah, that's it. So I like to say it corresponds to that. 48 years pass. 48 years later, Rivka tells Yaakov, go get the brachot. Says Rabbeinu Bechai, Kabbalistically speaking, and obviously Yaakov knew that and Rivka knew that. Yeah, you said something 48 years ago. Now you need a sign for it. You need a sign for it. Are you there? This is no joke. This is not an easy thing.
When is this?
When he wanted to get the brachot.
It's 48 years past, he was 15.
That's right. 63. Right? So you said, if Esau is not the politician, the leader, Esau is not going to be the king, you're going to be now. This is something that is not in your personality. This is not who you are. This is not my nature. This is, I'm an introvert. I'm a this, I'm a that, I'm a that. Good. You said it then when you're 15. Now, are you, excuse me, thank you. Are you ready? You could only get the bracha if you withstand this challenge. What makes someone be Elokei Yaakov? To go out of your comfort zone. To be who you're not, who you think you're not. You got to say, I am Esau. I will be Esau. I will be the leader. I will be the politician. I work myself. I train myself. I take classes. I take courses. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter that naturally it's not in me. We human beings could do anything we put our minds to. That's what we have to realize. We could succeed in anything. The point is, do we realize and do we want to do it? Yeah. So I'm not so inclined. So what? That means I just have to go and do it. So I'm not, I'm not the most outgoing person in the world. So I go talk once, twice, 3 times, you get better at it. End of the story. Right? You accept it. That's the nisayon that is given. And that is when you become Elokei. Elokei is when you are given a job, and you accept it despite what you may think, it's not me. And you find yourself in a moment that that's what's needed. So you have to come and say, Ani esav bechorecha. Now obviously it's true what Nir said from Gaon of Vilna. But that was the point of trying to make it emet as much as possible. But the deeper true emet of it is that I am. I am that person. I am Yaakov on top of being Esau. I am also Esau. And says Rabbi Bechaya, you have to say it on your own. I can't force you. I can't force you to be something you don't decide to be. You decide to be the Melech. You decide to be the Kohen Gadol. You decide to be that which you're not so naturally inclined to. Say it. Say it. Says, yes, I will be Esau. Ani Esau bechorecha. I will be the Bechor. I will be the Esau. Now, we have the answer to what you pointed out also. Why it had to be, in a way, misleading his father. Because you have to show that you're willing and ready to go against who you are. You're Ish Emet. Right? Ish Emet. Right? Gaon Ravina points out. He didn't say Pen Yemusheni Avi, he says Ulai Yemusheni Avi.
I hope.
You know the difference? Right? Pen is what in English we say lest, maboda. Right? Ulai and Yekash. There are 2 maybes in language that we have. There's a maybe you hope for, Yekash in Jewish. There's a maybe you're worried about, maboda in Jewish. Right? Lest it's going to happen, I hope it's going to happen. Hopefully it's going to happen. Both of them are maybes, are doubts, but they're said differently. So you should have said, when Rivka says, go do this, she should have said, Pen, maybe, right? Lest he's going to touch me and he's going to give me a kilala. So he says, Ulai. I hope he's going to touch me and he's going to find out because I hate lying so much. I hate it. So show me that you're willing to go out of your comfort zone. Then you are ready to be a person that we could say, okay, Yaakov.
Did he perform as Esau too?
Yes, he did.
When did he?
This is an example. But Lavan himself, dealing with Lavan. So you have Yaakov Avinu. Yaakov Avinu was a type of person, you know what, let Lavan take it all. I don't want to do anything less than perfect 100%. But you can't. If you deal with Lavan like this, he's not going to leave anything for you. So he won't leave anything. his personality is such a ish emet, I'll be penniless before I do these things. But no, that's not your mitzvah. Your mitzvah is to work and stand up for your right. Stand up for your right. Whatever is rightfully yours, you have to stand up. And Ramay Shebe Ramayim, Chazal say, the biggest charlatan in the world, you have to stand up and match him wit for wit. The biggest charlatan. But being a charlatan is against everything I am. Against everything I am. Now, I have a big proof for this. I have a big proof for this. The idea that I just told you. I think it's Ra'aya She'en Le'ashiv Alav. I don't think there is any way to answer this. Says Rashi, right? He worked 7 years. He worked 7 years for Rachel. Right? He felt like Yamim Achadim. What does Yamim Achadim mean? What does Rashi say? Rashi says because Rivka told him, go, right? Ki Yamim Achadim. Go to my brother for Yamim Achadim. Ad tashu chamat achicha mimecha. Right? Go for Yamim Achadim till Esav is not going to kill you anymore. Go for Yamim Achadim and come back. So he realized, says Rashi, Yamim Achadim is 7 years. So he realized that it's 7 years. So that's why he suggested when Lavan told him, how long? So I worked 7 years. Right? That's Rashi. So that means, again, I'm repeating what Rashi says. Yaakov understood that his mother said, you got to be away 7 years till Esav comes down. So when he was talking to Lavan, that's why he suggested on his own, I'll work for you 7 years for the right of getting married to Rachel. Yeah? Good? What's the problem?
He worked more.
The problem is 14 years before he went to yeshiva. If your mother has said to stay away for 7 years, you already been away 14 years. He didn't go right away to Lavan. He was away already 14 years, so try to shorten it as much as you want. While your mother said you already did the double. Okay, he can't go home, he has to get married, say 2 years, say 3 years. Says Ohr HaChaim HaKadosh, you see what an exuberant price it was that a charlatan like Lavan got so shocked by this amount that didn't bargain. He said, no, 8 years, or maybe 10 years. He said, Lou, you go, fine, got it. Such a charlatan, he jumps at it. He's scared that Yaakov is going to change his mind. It's such an exuberant price. 7 years was way too much. He said it only because his mother had said so. So I'm asking a question. You already did what your mother said. So say 3 years, say 4 years, whatever. Elamai. You go back to the pasuk. It says, "Go to my brother Lavan for Yamim Achadim." Then you don't have to worry about yourself. You deal with Lavan Yamim Achadim. Then your level will be such that you could come back. I don't think there is any other way to learn this. Rashi says his mother said Yamim Achadim. You have to say 7 years. He had to say 7 years. His mother says 7 years with Lavan, not 7 years away. Dealing with Lavan has made him who he was because he took him out of his comfort zone. You're Ishtam. You want to be, straightforward.
14 years after I wouldn't do it.
That's right. Okay.